Hi, guys. Thanks. I'm excited to talk to you tonight about this crazy thing that we're talking about how beer changed my life. And how does beer change everyone's life? Actually, beer made civilization. When I was a kid, sixth grade, as a matter of fact, I was a really bad student. No two ways about it. I was bored most of the time. Didn't quite know why, and I had a really god-awful teacher who loved to hand out these ridiculous reports. And I get Mesopotamia. What the hell is Mesopotamia? I'm in sixth grade. I have no idea. Where do I go to figure that out? Remember that place? And remember that thing? Yeah. Mesopotamia was something that, you check out picture books and you start looking at them and they don't really tell you the whole story. They start talking about things like, well, Mesopotamians invented agriculture. Well, what did that mean? Well, what that means is without agriculture and taking food from the wild and growing it where we live, we wouldn't have things like buildings and villages and communities. And they did crazy things like animal husbandry, and they invented all sorts of really cool implements like, shovels and hoes that we still use today. Irrigation. I'm a sixth grader, and I'm supposed to be bored. But this really, I was like, wow, man, there's something here. It's really cool. How did they do this, and what was it that they were growing, right? Anybody have any ideas? Barley, that's one of three, right? So wheat, well, sort of. Wheat didn't quite evolve that way yet. Any other guesses? Rye, nope. Barley's one of them. No, hops are a little later. So what happens is we've got three grain types that these Mesopotamians were growing, right? One's called einkorn, another one's called emmer, and the other one's called barley. So barley's over here on the far side. These were all wild grains. They were bringing them in from their old foraging days. They're like, hey, we can grow this stuff. What are we going to do with it? Right? Well, we're going to make bread, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. And that's what all the sixth grade picture books that you get in the children's section say that they're going to make out of it. Right? What are they really making out of it? Beer. Right? All you enophiles and your wine and your rotten grape juice, beer was first, okay? But it wasn't beer that we know today. And there's some debate as to whether or not it was, first barley, or was it emmer in the middle, or was it einkorn on the far side? But regardless, that's what they were using this stuff for. So I'm thinking, Flash forward 20 years later, I'm in graduate school, hacking my way through Central America. That's not to life size. Actually, I was really doing this over here. I was doing field research in Central and South America with an ag chem company, and you name it, if it was worth anything significant in the fruit and vegetables, we squirted something on it. We were trying to add value, flavor, things of that nature, size, and better storability. The thing that really impressed me the most was something that they called collectivo. So it's not a cooperative farm, it's a collective farming opportunity for all the people in the village. The big kicker there is that these growers were getting huge amounts of money out of this, like 70% of the value of the crop, 7-0. Selling things like cantaloupe to people like Dole, because it's too expensive for Dole to grow their own cantaloupes in Guatemala. I'm like, holy crap, really, 70%? Damn. I have an idea. How do I do this in Wisconsin? So meanwhile, back at the farm, how do I take this idea of collective farming? This is not a cooperative. All these individual growers are doing their own thing. What can I do that does not require me to generate a new market and make people try something they don't understand and talk people into growing something they don't know. That, beer. We have plenty of beer. Wisconsin used to grow more hops than any other place in North America, and we were responsible for 20% of the globe's hop production in the 1860s and 70s. And when I started looking at hops, I said, hey, high value crop. I'm a horticulturist. I'll let the agronomist deal with malts and grain and all that stuff. That's, it's kind of important. But hops are way sexier, right? Nobody was going to listen to me if I was talking about corn and cows and collective farming. I need a sexy crop. Hops are cool. That's where it started. How can we grow what are we going to grow as a high value crop on small acres of land collectively and get the majority of the value back to the farmer, equal to the risk that they're taking to grow this food crop? That's the challenge. Took us a little tinkering, but we finally figured it out. So we had developed a program by which small-scale growers can enter this market. Today, we've got growers of all sizes, from an acre up to 10 and 15 acres, from all walks of life. There's people that have come out of retirement from farming because, frankly, they were bored with corn and cows. They wanted something they had more personal connection with. And hops was an answer to that for them. They had small parcels that they didn't want to put into alfalfa. Hops was an answer to them. And they could make 10 to 20 times more in gross revenue per acre than they ever could with corn and cows, using this sort of collective production model. So now in our program, from this inception, from deep in the jungles, primeval in Guatemala, right, we're up to about 100 acres. And we're providing somewhere between 20 and 30,000 pounds of hops to brewers that are here in this region. It's grown here, it's sold, money changes hands within our own region. You consume it here. That is absolutely critical to our future in agriculture. And I would have never have thought that that's where I was going to be in 6th grade, researching Mesopotamia. That's my story.